IVM.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative.
All right, now here on Cyrus Says, I have to confess something. My blood sugar levels have come down quite a bit, and because of that, my energy level has gone up. And I already am slightly energetic and hyper, so it's even more, and leads to more impatience, which I have all the time. And I talk even faster now, so you won't understand much I'm saying. Thank God. But the big problem I have is when I reach a lift in a lobby of a building, mine or even any other building, if it's not there, I'm unable to stand still. And I get very irritated and I start circling like a dog in heat. So now I realize that the better thing to do, and this is a gift for anyone who's impatient and a little hyper, is march. If you march on the spot, no matter how long it takes, you're okay. Because that little aggressive energy that's coming out because it's not happening and you're impatient to get into the lift, that is taken care of by the marching. And in a sense, you're going towards the lift, although you're marching on the spot and you shouldn't advance because you won't have much space anyway. So I've tried this and I find it calms me down and I just keep on marching till I get the lift and I enter the lift. Sometimes I march in the lift as well, just out of sheer habit. But I'm saying this not as a joke, but surely if you have the same issue, which is impatience, and the energy levels are high and you don't want to do with it and you don't want to work or progress in life, then this is the thing to do. March.
If you're a cricket fan, check out Edges and Sledges, India's favorite cricket podcast.
The podcast focuses on Indian cricket, the IPL, and has a ton of banter both on and off the field.
We talk about the week's biggest cricket stories with current and ex-international cricketers, coaches, or sometimes just between us.
And it's hosted by me, DJ.
Me, Varun.
And me, Ashwin.
New episodes release every week.
You can catch us on the IVM Podcast's website, app,
or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast.
Now let's leave March behind, go straight back into December because we are joined on the show, Cyrus Says, by one of the greatest Indians the world has ever seen. He is a winner of 47,000 different awards, which I will not mention. And he's been on the podcast before. He's also the host of a wonderful show, many wonderful shows here on the IVM podcast, Family Tube, whatever it's called. He'll correct me about everything. But the famous one is the Habit Coach podcast. We've had him before, as I said, Dr. Ashton Doctor. We clarified that in the last podcast. You can check. I don't want to repeat questions and all that because A, he'll get angry, and B, we have some loyal listeners. And the 8 listeners who listen, they're so petty and small-minded that every little thing that's repeated, they'll send us a text just to abuse us. I hate that. It's really, it's like you're always on eggshells because you do anything wrong, a foot goes in the wrong direction, they correct you. They're like that terrible uncle, who corrects your English all the time in public like that.
Cyrus, that's an abusive relationship right there, huh?
It is a horrible relationship, but what can I do? I can't afford to buy other followers. I asked Amit, he said, no, not yet. He said, in time.
You can add them to your elevator army. Yeah, all march in place.
Yeah, we will start the elevator fight. And the other thing is, at the elevator, I can't stand the one who's patient. Have you met those who don't care? They seem to be because Indians, many of them are like that. We just have that sukoon feeling and that shanti feeling about us. So you have that guy and then you have me. And then when I see him, my energy goes up even more. So I'm like, why are you so calm?
That bugger's up to something.
100%. He's a fanatic. Only fanatics can behave that calm. Ashton, I'm sorry to bother you, but first let me congratulate you. 3 full years. I'm sure when you started, you had no idea about this medium, etc. Although you've been doing so well, created your own stance, your own space. But first, a Miss India question. How do you feel? 3 years of a podcast on health, in a sense, on wellness. What is the right word? Wellness, yeah.
On all aspects, actually. We went straight from health and wellness to relationships to productivity, all sorts of things we've covered. Because
which is all interrelated, right?
It's all interrelated.
All that comes after your wellness or health, whatever you want to call it.
And if you have 5 podcasts a week, there's a lot of stuff that we can cover and we have to cover. So, we expanded. Insanely amazing. I can't even imagine 3 years. Wow.
Also thinking back to the whole, like it's an industry now. We've got a lot of people who are, let's face it, making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, or the early 2000s, it was very nascent and very few people. But now I'm just getting this idea that people like yourself, the pioneers and the ones who've made a name and a mark, are going to play a role which is almost like a life coach and like a guide. Like it's a spiritual guide in a sense. It is about the physicality and the metabolisms and all this that happen, and your nervous system and digestive system and your weight and height. But at the end of the day, it's also spiritual because you, as you said, you branched out, you moved forward. So you're now almost like that one-stop shop for someone to go to or listen to sort of stay abreast of what's happening and feel good about themselves without actually going to a professional therapist.
Almost. Yeah, because so many people write in saying that, wow, this changed my life. I'd never thought about this as an idea. And the whole thing is that there are two kinds of people, right? People who just listen and binge listen because the podcast is like 5 minutes long, right? So you can binge listen. And then there are those that actually make a change and implement. And those are the ones that actually see that big difference in their life. So it's always about, when people say, I listened to your podcast, I said, yes, but how much have you implemented?
But don't you think it's a bit of flirting when the person is pretending they aren't interested, but they listen? Because a lot of people do that because they don't want to, they kind of stigma themselves that, do I need help? Do I need to listen? Do I need to change my life?
Yeah.
We don't want to actually believe that about ourselves. Me included. I would possibly listen to it and then pretend I'm not really listening to. But the third or fourth time you've heard the podcast, you're hooked, and you know that you actually need. I think need a crutch is a wrong thing to say, but it doesn't hurt, right?
No.
It doesn't hurt to listen to what you have to say, and I think everything you say is positive. There's absolutely no negativity. You've heard some of the podcasts, and for me, I think that's very important because the moment you start correcting people in a negative way, pointing the faults and all that, I think you lose them. Whether it's a bit of ego or just lack of self-esteem, but I think your style is superb.
It becomes back into that abusive relationship that you were talking about, right? Like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
It's exactly turns into that. Oh, you're like this, change. No.
You can tell I'm the abuser when I smile the moment you mention the abusive relationship. I'm the
yes.
Yeah. But whatever stigma that we may have had, it's more like here or in third world countries or developing countries. I think in the West, everybody just turned to it. People like you are now the new age. I don't want to use the word guru, it's overused, but you are very, very important facet of society.
Yeah.
People turn to you and say, without this guy, suddenly I'll start crumbling because this guy's putting it together for me. And when things are not so good, I can go back to his podcast and listen and hear, and I'll find points that I agree with or I can empathize with, etc.
You're part of the support system.
I would say apex, the top of the support system in many ways. As we become adults and as we become independent people, as family, for example, my son is in Canada alone or whatever. I'm thinking the moment that you get into that position where family is not your first bastion, those people, and there are many of those people working in the big cities, etc.
Correct.
You start getting exposed a little bit, both mentally and physically, and that's where you come in a big way. I want to ask you one thing. How do you keep yourself ahead? This is a slightly difficult question, but how does one keep oneself ahead? There's all the stuff that you've already done, but you will keep refreshing and keep figuring things out and dealing with. We'll get into this in a big way, the pandemic, and how you dealt with that whole situation because suddenly you got that. But how does Ashton Doctor? What's your game? How do you go ahead of the times in a sense or keep up?
So there are two things, very important things. One is that can you visualize a better future? Because what happened during the pandemic is people suddenly lost all hope. They couldn't visualize only that there could be a better future. So constantly visualizing what's next is very, very important. Like you were a big influence in this. By the way, Cyrus, I don't know if you know this or not, but like when we started the podcast, the first question I asked Kavita is like, oh, we're starting, but who's the number one? She said, Cyrus. So I said, all right, what is his number of listens per month? She said, give me a number. I said, that's what I'm going to go after. And that's the way that I visualized it. And then you hit it after the first.
Competitive bastard. I didn't have that in my profile.
Quickly write it down.
Sorry, go on.
But the whole idea is that you need a direction that you're going to go in, right? If I did not know what target I was hitting, then maybe 10 listens was good. But like if I want 50,000, what is that I have to go after? 200,000, what is it that I have to go after? So in that way, getting direction is very important. But the second one is just being curious and learning all the time. I know you must be like researching and reading so much and learning so much. It makes a big difference.
Ouch. I just finished my first book of the year, Michael Holding's book on racism, together. Why We Kneel.
Wow.
I won't get into that right now. I just want to interrupt you for a second because I want to go back to some of your earlier podcasts and when we spoke the last time, speaking of the importance of routine, simple things like that. So if we come back to COVID, you speak about direction and ambition and having that, and I'm sure but that also comes from having a routine, am I right?
Correct.
Which is what you do, which is what you're doing, and then you're telling other people to do as well.
Absolutely.
So just take us through this whole routine thing because I sometimes I'm not able to explain it to people how we wake up on time and do same things and have certain targets, which are both consistent targets as well as the target which you're chasing in terms of career diarrhea, etc., which
Yeah.
you just mentioned. So just take us through the importance of routine.
Done. And I don't know if your listeners know this, but you're one of the most like well routine habited persons that I know. It's fantastic on your discipline on that.
I'm a dark-skinned German. Would have been killed in 39 to 45, but other than that, yes.
So the whole idea is that our habits are nothing but the actions that we have, but also the thoughts that we have through the day. So our habits are also thoughts. Like, if you wake up every morning and say life sucks, that's a thought. So your routine starts from there. When you wake up, what's the first thought that you have? Damn it, I want to switch off my alarm, I want to snooze it, etc., etc. And your routine are nothing but your habits put together. So imagine a train, one habit after another, that forms your routine. And what happened during this lockdown was that people's routines went for a complete toss. And I did lots of workshops for companies like Google, etc., to make them understand that they need a structure to their day. So we divided their lives into like 5 aspects, right? There is family time, there is home stuff that they have to take care of, there is work that they have to take care of, there is self-development time, and then there's relaxation. That last one, relaxation time, nobody even thought about during this pandemic and being stuck at home.
Sorry to interrupt, but it's a tough one, right? Because you're home, so you have an informal sort of situation. While the first 4 are coming through, you're still in an informal setting because you're wearing short pants, or whatever, you're going in and out of kitchens and stuff like that. So you, in a sense, think you're relaxing through the day also.
Exactly.
High moments.
Exactly. So as a result, you're constantly in that I need to catch up mode, not realizing that you already exceeded more work than you've ever done before in your life. So people were just burning out left, right, and center. They would wake up and they would sit down on their coffee table, laptop on, that means work on. So there was no structure to this. And what we did was we got structure to their days. And as a result, there was a big change that started taking place.
I just want to segue a little bit from here. I have a friend who was talking to me in the gym in the morning, and she claims she is sort of depressed. Okay, she's been saying this for many days, in the sense that she can't tell why she's depressed. Okay, and I've been reading about this clinical depression, people who commit suicide and seem to have this gene. I think we've discussed it on other podcasts as well, where they, for you and me, for most people, we can tell the career is not going the right direction. Your mother's health is not, you can pinpoint why you're not feeling good. Is it true that there are people who are actually, even with routine, are unable to deal with, they're just not optimistic?
Yeah.
And for that, they sort of pay a heavy price.
So there are 2 kinds of. So one is a big chemical imbalance in the body that takes place, which causes this kind of depression. So like when you talk to somebody who's like that and you ask them a strange question, ask them a normal question, like what are the things that you do to make you happy? Like you normally think music, this and that. And the person looks at you and says, what is happiness? Now, that's a full stop right there, right? You mean like, I've never experienced it. How do I know what this is? And I remember a client of mine going through this, that you have to realize and create hope for people who are feeling depressed, because what happens is that there's immense sadness that exists as this weight on their shoulder. When it goes towards the suicide part, it means that they don't believe that the future can be better than what it is right now. And you have to create that. Sorry.
No, so I'm just saying that there's no key trigger. So you're talking to someone and one gets a little scared after some time because they always seem low.
Yeah.
And I don't see why. There's no real reason. At least we can't empathize with the reason, because there's nobody's crumbling in the family, the work, whatever is all normal. It appears normal.
Yeah.
Nothing super great or something, but it appears normal. So why are they always low? Or is it just a call for attention? But after some time, because I've read about these stories and we've seen high-profile cases in the last couple of years, for example, and you're dealing with people all the time, and you're dealing with actual depression, which is coming from being stuck at home, worried about work, worried about health, which is, I think, at least, you know where you're going.
Yep.
And hence routine will play a part, as you mentioned, and all that. What do I tell? Firstly, why did they ask me, Ashton? I don't know what to say. I'm an idiot.
First, tell them to listen to the podcast on suicide that we have on the Habit Coach podcast, because we spoke to a suicide expert person who actually helps people get out of that situation. And what's interesting is that you have to create a pause from that thought that they have in mind right now, which is, I need to end it all. You need to take them to a safe space where they are comfortable having a discussion with you. So getting into that safe space is very, very critical. And the more friends that you have in the safe space with you, one, your life is better because you have more people you can talk to, but also these people can open up to you. During the high-profile suicide cases like you were talking about, everybody on social media put up a thing saying, anyone thinking about it, please call me, please talk, etc. Have you ever received a call from somebody who's on a ledge saying, I'm about to jump? It's one of the scariest things on the planet. I've done that, and total freak out moment till you know what needs to be done next.
No, we got a letter on Loveline back in the day on MTV, and I remember with Malaika sitting on the couch, and we had to go to the letters before we shoot to decide which ones to use, etc. And we really panicked because it's quite flippant, most of our answers, at least mine, all the time, pretty insensitive when you think about it. And suddenly the person talking about how this woman has left him and his life is finished and he wants to kill himself, and can you please talk to me? He didn't even say stop me or don't stop me. He said, can you please talk to me?
Correct.
So we had to call him offline. It was someone in North India. We had to chat with him, but not put it on camera, etc. Then find a suicide counsel, rather not suicide counsel, that sounds wrong. A counselor who then spoke in turn, and I don't even know how it played out after that because we just wanted to run, to be frank.
Yeah.
I got a little scared.
It's
because
damn
it suddenly went from 0 to 100. This is a fun show with silly people and normal questions like how do I meet this girl, etc. And then it suddenly goes to this extreme, and you realize that God, why did this happen? Now again, I'm going to ask you these questions.
Can I add one last thing to this?
Yes, please.
That having these conversations is the most important. Because when we had these conversations, the Habit Coach podcast, people wrote in saying that I was considering it, now I'm not. Now I have someone to talk to. Now that's powerful, and that's why having these conversations is important. I'm glad you brought it up.
I read somewhere that it's all about having a connection. For people, they're just not able, not that they're lonely, but they just can't connect with one person who empathizes and understands. That's where you come in. I'm thinking, literally the podcast becomes that one person. I know it's not personal in the extent where he's talking to you or she's talking to you, but it can become that because once they listen to the podcast, they realize that somebody's getting into their head, into their mind, and without passing judgment and saying, hey, maybe we can sort this out.
Podcasting is actually a strangely intimate relationship, right? Because you're in the person's ears throughout.
For me, it is because they only criticize me all the time. It's very interesting. It's like being in school again. The teacher saying, shut up, don't talk in class. I get that feeling all the time. I dread the text. When Silvery plays the text, I dread it. And then once in a while when they say something nice, you can't believe it. So you think it's sarcasm. They say, I really like the podcast. They're like, yeah, right. Whatever. Sorry. So going back a little bit again, because I stopped your routine chat, the chat on routine and the importance of routine. So going back to pandemic, I think that initially you mentioned Google and all these big MNCs and these big corporate spaces where they suddenly realize that they have a problem in the sense that their people are struggling. And not struggling with work per se, but struggling with being themselves. So just take us through how you dealt with that situation, both in the podcast and generally whatever on a personal level when you had to as well.
Lovely. So in fact, Google gave so much money to each of these employees to create a home office for themselves, try and do all of that. But the point was that the body might have been ready and the office space might have been ready. The mind was not. So the mind was still this torn between how much work to have to put out, family, because now your child suddenly rushes in the middle of a meeting, cries, pulls you, right? So how do you train the child not to do that to you? So we set up systems where we created a workspace, of course, but then we said that every time you go and sit on that workspace, you kiss everybody bye like you're going to work. The same way you lift up your briefcase and etc., go there. So the child knows now mommy is working or daddy is working. Don't come and disturb. And then what we did was we broke it up into chunks. So every 20 minutes you go out, say hello to everyone and come back. So nobody is missing you, right? Because the thing is that they interrupt you.
Which I just did. I'm sorry. So it goes back a bit to the school sort of structure where you have a period and then you have a break and then you have a period.
Correct.
So, but in a way, hasn't that helped our work output? Because you work intensely for half an hour or 1 hour and then you take a little break as against a 9-hour day where you're dwindling and watching porn and while the boss is walking in the background.
And coffee. And sometimes.
Personally. Yeah, coffee.
And they'll always catch you doing that.
They always catch you watching cricket, which is
worse
can go
than
both
porn.
ways. Yeah, it is. Because it's much longer, for God's sake. You only get a climax after 6 hours, 7 hours, sometimes more, 5 days. Yeah. Yes. Sorry. So no. So sorry.
So you're talking about effectiveness. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that effectiveness is important. So there's a technique called the Pomodoro technique where you work for 25 minutes. Pomodoro. So it's your kitchen timer. It's called
famous
the Pomodoro.
Famous Bengali scholar. Let's just say that.
Pomodoro.
Pomodoro. Yeah.
So 25 minutes you work. 5 minutes you take a break. And then you do this in a routine. And what you do is you put everything on airplane mode. Your laptop on airplane mode, your phone on airplane mode while you're working. So you're only doing that one task. And the kicker is that if you get distracted during it, you have to restart from the 25 minutes. You don't count that. So it builds that discipline into the system.
Yeah, but also then what happens to the second half of the day? Because I think the first half of the day, you do that in a sort of correct manner. And then as the day gets longer, domestic issues start calling, including people coming in and out of the house. So then what happens then?
Amazon parcels mid-conference call. That's the word.
Yes. Wow. and the bell ringing and you being the only person who can answer it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Instagram live, go open the doors. Too funny. Exactly.
I've had a guest apologizing, saying there's no one in the house at the moment. I'll have to open the door. What are you going to do? So it's a blank guest, and you're just twiddling your
Dead air,
thumbs.
dead air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are fun times, huh? Actually, when you think about
They
it.
are. They are.
And
We'll never get them
thinking.
again. Or will
Hopefully, we
So
won't. But the thing is that you have to plan for
Yeah.
them if you do.
Yeah, but I think listening to your podcast also, the whole idea is exactly is not whether they come or don't come. It's whatever happens, you'll deal with it. I think that's sort of your message.
Absolutely.
And when we go back to the melancholic personality types, etc., and people who seem to have ingrained depression and things which we cannot identify with, which is not on a short-term depression because of this or that, I think that's where you come in a big way. Because you're never looking to judge. You're only looking to say, hey, bro, whatever it is, let's figure out a nice path.
Correct.
Am I right to say this?
Absolutely. And build resilience, right? Like whatever's happening outside is happening outside. But what's happening inside is what is the perception that you have, right? Like I keep giving the example of somebody running in with guns. Everyone in that room is going to have a different reaction. Someone will throw a plate at the person, someone will hide under the person, someone will hide but behind somebody else, someone will scream. So it's the same. The stimulus
Sanjay
is the
Dutt
same.
will ask what mode of rifle is that? And is it
Kaun
not
sa
just
hai?
kidding,
Kaun sa
lovely
model?
guy.
So the thing is that the stimulus is always the same, but your reaction is all that matters. And if you build resilience for that, if you don't make everything emotional, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, again, I think what you said about the connection, about being able to just, sort of be there as a voice or a listener sometimes, whichever one part you're playing at that point, is very important. And I think in the pandemic, you probably learned yourself how to deal with communities as separate as to deal with a single person. And each community has its own set of issues which you're dealing with. It's not just structure and discipline. It's a little bit more than that, which you did. But Ashton, what I want to do is, because we have only limited time, fortunately, for the listener, can you take us through some of the highlights that you've enjoyed personally? Because this is more a personal podcast of your 3 years of being on the air and all that. And it doesn't have to be just pandemic driven. I know half of that was pandemic. But for Ashton Doctor, what were the moments where, either perplexed, super happy, challenged, that come to mind?
I'll tell you moments when that made me cry out of like tears of
Easy.
joy. So I think after the first year, we did there was this those reviews that come saying best podcasts in the world kind of thing. So they had one top 10 best motivational podcasts, and Habit Coach was in there along with Tony Robbins, along with Tim Ferriss, along with the School of Greatness. All these podcasts that I looked up to, and I was just like, and when that and I was in a big publication, when it came out, I was just like started bawling. I was like, I can't believe this is happening, and just like wow. So that was one big moment and big win for me.
I had a similar experience because just quickly, we also got nominated, you won't believe, podcasts that you shouldn't listen to, which included Yogi Adityanath's Why Wear Orange, that kind of thing, Mulayam Yadav on How I Will Come Back. And then, of course, we were featured as well. So on a disconnected note. Yes, sorry to interrupt you. I don't know. I think I have such low self-esteem after years of being abused and heckled that if we win something, suddenly they say, okay, Padma, just to get rid of us, there's no more, don't get this guy off television finally, Padma Bhushan. I'll be like, come on, that's some kind of joke. There's no way it's true. Sorry. So that was one.
So that was
being
one.
Put in the August company.
Of these guys who are like heroes for me in the podcasting world. Then big fanboy moments happened when Devdutt Patnaik, who was on your show, and then I said I want him on my, because like I've read like most of his books.
Everything.
So I love Devdutt Patnaik. So he was on the show and I was like full, I took out all my books and I said, look, I have all your books. So that was one fanboy moment. The other one was we had a person called...
Sorry, quickly, how was he on the show? But because his entire style is also that, reflecting of how to deal with this, that, and the other through the epics or through
Correct.
Through liberal thought in the epics, which, some people don't get. Yeah.
And it was very interesting because we were talking about financial health through the epics. So what do these epics talk about finance and how we can deal with money and make money and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It was very, very interesting.
Yeah. And all said and done, I think everybody's looking at the same point, which is how to further improve yourself, not in an arrogant way, but in a way where you coexist in peace and do better for yourself in a nice, positive is overused. Please find another word to use because people shout at us for using positive on the podcast.
Growth.
But in a growth. Yeah. So it's yours is more from the mental aspect and then it goes to everything else.
Correct.
These guys are trying to find metaphors and all from the past, etc. Sorry. And so that was Devdutt Patnaik.
So Devdutt Patnaik. Then we had a gentleman called Ken Honda, who is Japan's most prolific writer. He's written some 2,000 books on finance.
Whose car's a Toyota, strangely. Not necessary.
Not necessary. And he was absolutely brilliant. We had a super chat. So I think those fanboy moments, and I look for so many more to come. I think this year. Now I'm going to be all very hardcore about it.
Isn't that a bit of a? I think a lot of people, when they get into this space, as you've tasted success and you're amongst the younger ones out there and quite popular and everything, it's very easy to believe your own myth, no? After some time.
Oh, yo.
So isn't it good that you have this Mr. Honda coming on and, a Devdutt or whatever, when you sort of know your place and say, I've still got miles to go before I sleep. And
worse is imposter syndrome happens, right? So like when Ashton doesn't follow his own habits, like for the last 4 months, Ashton has not been following his own habits. He's been chilling. Suddenly, like, I'm a habit coach. I'm not following my own habits. I'm not doing my workout. I'm not doing this. So full imposter syndrome happens from time to time. So I think it is that balance that you have to create and you have to see where you're going and move towards.
Actually, I don't buy that line of thinking. Hanny Rambod is the best bodybuilding coach in the world, but he has no way his physique is even like national level. So, and Ferguson was, an average footballer, perhaps, but a great coach.
Right.
And the same applies to other sports and all that. So I don't know. You chill, man. You drink as much as you want. As long as you help other people, like I say, we have to find that Jesus moment in ourselves.
Correct.
Okay, you're finding that. For which now you have to pay a price. If you're going to drink yourself silly, or whatever, eat carbohydrates all day, that's fine. End of the day, because you are responsible for so many people getting better.
Yeah.
So take one for the team.
Done.
Don't worry, yaar.
Getting sloshed tonight.
And now I'm giving you an example of a Parsi with a Punjabi accent, yaar. Don't worry. Worry not, yaar. I've got the Punjabi friend. He's going to join us in 5 minutes. So sorry, I don't want to stop.
Imagine two Parsis doing this Punjabi accent. That would be too much.
Yeah. This is the end of India. They'll be like, finally the Punjabis will speak in English. Both ho gaya.
I say, enough is enough.
Lucky, Baljeet. Okay, sorry. So you had Mr. Honda, you had Mr. Patnaik.
So I think those were big moments for me. I think loved it. And I think the biggest are all the messages that I keep getting from people who listen.
The callbacks, the return calls who appreciate what you've already done. What about that?
The listeners. These are like fantastic. My God, like how much change they made in their life. People trying to do something new. I think those are the things that really, really make it all worth it.
Before we call Silvery in and start going to AMAs, because there'll be plenty there as well, can I ask you, is there a difference in the dynamic for female and male during the pandemic? When you as a life coach, when you as a sort of specialist, is there like two different streams?
I think
I heard people talk about this and I wasn't able to understand why that would be so.
I think unfortunately, the males suffered in silence a little bit more. I think that was the big issue. They didn't just talk about it. If you spoke about it...
The usual male issue.
I am strong, thump chest and all of that. That mask of manliness also has to be put aside sometimes.
So, but that did, in a sense, in the pandemic, did make the man feel a sense of fragility and then sort of, start exposing himself to the fact that maybe he's just exactly the same as anybody else.
Or just broke.
broke.
Because if that realization didn't take place, then that's the issue. But
I felt, correct me if I'm wrong, I felt that in the lower economy strata, the broke issue was a big thing. And work and not having work and simple things like just putting food on the table. The middle and upper middle class, I felt, since we still had a little money to tide us by, I thought the problem was more like a suffocation sense. Like I'm stuck and I can't get out. Especially people who do a lot of different things. Like I'm having affairs and stuff. And so I need to go to 4 or 5 houses in the course of one day. Just to please the ladies.
It becomes difficult.
There's no meaning in that. Yeah, it becomes difficult. So, just thinking that...
But your sexting game must have improved, right?
But my spellings and typos are terrible. So, I can't tell you. Instead of F-U-C-K, I write L-U-C-K. So, people don't know what I'm talking about.
Good luck.
I get a good luck. I get a thumbs up sign, which is what I intend is different than what,
At least you don't get duck.
Anyway. That's coming
Ducking
soon. I'm 50. Yeah. They just point to the duck with a hole in it. Oops. Ouch. Okay, Ashton, let's take a quick break and get in Silvery. There's lots of questions to be asked here as well. And maybe some kudos and plaudits to be shared on a well done, well played 3 years. The Habit Coach, talking to people in a very... When you look back and you write your book or you do your biopic in a sense, this is going to be a huge test for you as well as it was for the people who you sort of advise and help, right? Because you were caught unaware. The whole world was caught unaware.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with it on the spot.
And how do you deal with it smiling, right? So because, we immediately had to start making podcasts. We didn't miss a single podcast during the pandemic. How do we go on point? Tuck.
And Ashton can't lose his shape. Ashton has to remain happy and humorous and friendly and easygoing and all that. I can imagine.
It happens naturally most of the time, but you create a support system. Safe spaces.
thanks to the chemicals that are available from the pharmacy, young Ashton was able to provide the rest of the world with succor during this bad time. Succor, not succor. Let's get in. Silvery, Om Punjabi, come inside.
ओए
बाहर
बल्ले
ही
बल्ले
हूँ।
यार नमस्ते नमस्ते
Oh, बल्ले बल्ले.
yeah it'd be hilarious if I came in
Yeah.
with a Gujarati accent instead of
Oh, it would have been fantastic.
yeah,
Or you
damn
could
it.
just put your
Missed
North
it.
of England accent, which you sometimes carry off.
Yeah,
But okay, the text will start immediately.
sure,
We do a lot of
sure.
accents on the show, and we are completely trolled. Trolled by people who apparently like us. So imagine people who don't like us, what they would do. Ouch.
Yeah, you're getting
Yeah.
cancelled and we don't even know it.
Silvery, why don't you tell Ashton a little bit about yourself also? No, in the 2-year pandemic,
He knows, he
initially
knows.
being stuck. It's there.
I was actually
Oh.
producing The Habit Coach for a while in the middle, and actually have a question, Ashton,
Hmm.
about The Habit Coach. So you have
Oh.
a cool fun fact at the beginning of every episode, which leads into ties into a neat little habit that you can do, like an actionable habit that you can actually follow. Like, what is your process? Do you think of the fact first and then tie in a habit, or do you think of the habit and then try to find a fact that then ties into
Putting
that?
pressure for
This
no
is the
reason,
most
yeah.
interesting part
What was
because
a simple? Yeah.
because like
Sorry.
the habit is there in mind, and then like how do you start with an interesting fact, right? And there are days when you just can't find anything interesting to start with. It takes the longest time to get that in. But yeah, and then I think I enjoy the fun of making the habit part of the habit. I mean the fun fact part of the habit itself. So I think that's must be there.
I think what Ashton, I mean, he can't say obviously because he's a modest man and all said and done, well brought up, is that ultimately, other than the science and the, all the knowledge that he's gleaning and getting and keeping himself abreast, the main thing is that his personality has to be, really good and nice, and throughout it can't drop. Which I think has to be appreciated also, because ultimately most people have their moments. You can't afford to. You can't afford to kick the door, when you're angry or whatever, because at the moment they're all looking up to you, especially during this pandemic time where you're setting a standard, as you just said, about dropping your habits, etc. So I think that's the one thing you should appreciate when someone does something like that. You have to live that life. You have to actually, because you're human at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So how do you cope? Is my question in that long, winded way.
So you have to do it. That's one. But the second thing is that you have to find your space. Right, so like I have this time in the evening when nobody is allowed to bug me. Right, that is my recharging time. Then
and can we ask what you do then for that 3-5 minutes of tamasha? I mean, what is it? Karate? Is it a punching bag? Is it just scream? I know the Japanese had this thing we throw plates right in the restaurants.
Yeah,
it
break
just
things.
releases all the tension.
Break things and then
I've
charge them
tried
for
it. It's lovely. Sylvia, have you tried it? You just throw the plate, you break the plate or the glass. It just takes away negativity from your body. It's like you've done one act, and that's enough for a civilized person to back off and say, what the hell am I doing? Just one. So what do you do?
So Amit's going to be really upset with Silvery in the canteen
There'll be
today.
nothing left. There'll be nothing left.
Broken everything.
रोचा and Ashton ने बोला हम लोग दो पारसी की बात सुन के. That too with Punjabi accent. Oh damn it.
Yeah, so that time by yourself, very, very important. I think that's the recharging thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Amit. I won't be able to record today, yaar.
Alright, why? What happened, Cyrus?
Man, I've got to go to the bank. I have to open a new account, that document filing, profiling. You got to show this card, that card, this verification, that too many processes. Man, they should have to ease these things up, yaar. There's no way a normal person can do this.
Well, there is a way to do this. All you have to do is you can do all of this sitting at home if you have a Bank of Baroda account.
Huh? But I have a Bank of Baroda account.
Awesome, then all you really need to do to avail of 95% of all retail banking services domestically. Just download the Bob World app and use the banking services right at your fingertips.
Oh, wow, sorted. See you in the studio then. What a relief. Bank of Baroda, we live in your world. Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me. Let's get on to the AMAs.
Yes, absolutely. There are tons of AMAs for Cyrus. And
Any comments that have
Ashton.
come in? I want to know if anybody's, because we are making fun from time to time and all that, but if anybody has anything to ask him
Yeah,
while
there
we're
are tons
on,
for Ashton.
on a personal level, I'm saying, before those questions.
Oh, like, do I have something to ask?
No, like if somebody's saying like, I'm having a bad day, etc., or this is not going.
Yeah, there
Congrats on 3 years of the. Yeah.
I
I remember yours being the.
Srinivas
Yeah, go
Kulkarni
ahead.
says, congrats on 3 years of the Habit Coach. I remember yours being the first set of podcasts I started listening to on IVM, besides this one. Who needs to read Blue Zones when we have your podcast?
Thank you so much.
And this is like Silvery telling you that most of the time I like the beginning parts.
because he's not mentioned us. He just said, you get that? A backhand straight for us. Yeah.
Thank you.
So Ashton feels good?
Very good. Full on.
Okay. So
Right.
that's not exactly a question, but that's just a tap on the back. So we'll
Yeah,
take it.
absolutely.
Move to the next one.
Next one comes from Tarun Kaushik. First, he has a comment, Tarun Kaushik, and then a question. He says, I like the habit coach, but I can't keep up the habits. Which is
Good. Huge
yeah,
point.
it's a good
Huge
thing.
point.
Very, very important.
It's the pressure of,
Yeah.
So-
And his question is,
Hmm.
are introverts people with low self confidence?
Hmm.
Can they change?
Hmm.
I feel it's easy to change yourself at a younger age. Beyond what age is it useless to try to change yourself?
Lovely. Okay, so the first question is, how do I be consistent with my habits? The thing that you have to do is understand that you don't try creating more than 3 habits at a time. So just choose 3 habits that you can focus on, because very often, you get intimidated and want to start all 20 and change your life in one day. It doesn't work like that, right? Just
Is this the lesson Tezab, the movie, taught you? 1, 2, 3.
4, 5, 6,
1, 2,
7,
3. Please ignore me and continue with the answers. This is the aside, not to be listened to. Yeah.
So the consistency is
habits.
important. Start small, follow the 3 rules of habit change. So start small, start easy, and never miss 2 days in a row. That never miss 2 days in a row is important for the consistency bit. Then the next question is low self-esteem and introverts. It's not the same thing. I'm an introvert. That means that I go by myself to recharge. That's all that introversion means. But you can teach yourself to be very, very comfortable with other people around you. And that's what I did. I taught myself how to be comfortable, how to be out there. But Cyrus and I were just talking about 5 minutes ago, I go back to just being with myself when I want to recharge. Extroverts go to others in order to recharge. So that is the big important thing. It has nothing to
That's
do
a
with low
great point.
self-esteem.
That's a great point, because when you're in a crowd, suddenly you wake up, your blood flows, you're all good.
Yeah.
And then you have almost like you had a refreshing moment.
Absolutely.
Post that. Yeah, that's a great point. So extrovert feels that, introvert actually wants to be alone. And hence they don't want to face the crowd. Good point.
Or even if you're at a party, you want to just go to the toilet and go, and then come back out into the crowd. You need that little
course.
breather.
When you age, you do that while sitting on the pot. So that's a different feeling altogether. But no, especially in couples, and I don't just mean male, female, or husband, wife, or husband, or whatever. I mean, even in partners, friendship, or whatever. Like my friend Kunal is introverted, I'm extroverted.
Right.
And sometimes you can see there's a huge difference in the dynamic plays out when you're with people.
Correct.
Like I always feel I'm more relaxed, and he's always like putting on a little shield because he's not really that comfortable. I always feel that, wondering why British accent comes out, things like that. And I sometimes am very badly behaved because I'm too relaxed.
Correct.
The moment I have people. Silvery, is Silvery an introvert? Many comedians are introverted and just
think
come
it's
on live on
mixed.
stage.
It's mixed. Well, I remember once going to a counselor and she telling me that I am an introvert who has figured out how to be an extrovert when needed, whatever that means. But yeah,
Which is actors, comedians, many of them are like that.
Many of
So
them
they
are
come
introverts.
out but when they're alone, exactly what Ashton is trying to point out, I think, when you're alone, that's who you are. And then when you're not alone, you figure out that this works for you. So, which is many artists and et cetera, et cetera. Even Ashton, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're here, now you don't appear to be an introvert for many, you can't be. You're talking to people, you're coaching them, so there's no question. What about leaders? Can leaders be introverted? Like real leaders? I mean, I don't mean just in a company, but I mean a political leader, a prime minister, president, a huge leader.
I'm sure they are. So they're driven by different things. So, a political person...
Manmohan Singh perhaps didn't like to talk.
There you go. Absolutely. Yeah. So there are lots of leaders who will be introverted, but you train yourself out of it. Correct? And introverts are fantastic also because they research a lot. They'll sit by their book, they'll sit by themselves, they'll do that. So they become thinkers in that sense. So
yeah, they don't have the pompous arrogance of us extroverts. That's true. I couldn't be bothered.
Everybody loves me.
I can see the difference. Yeah. So Amir Khan, introvert, for example. So Salman Khan, probably extrovert. Yeah.
Correct.
It's like
Possible.
that. Yeah. I'm good. I'm glad we came with those examples because people don't understand. We tried Manmohan Singh, we got no reaction. Back to the Punjabi accent, yaar. Oh, by the way, at some point, Ashton, I'm going to release Dadar Parsi Colony's finest. I don't know when Sylvie is going to do that, but it's a surprise
right now.
and we need your reaction.
But,
let's do it right now.
Fine, but one quick question, Cyrus. Can we just show the photo?
Yeah.
This person is he famous?
As in, is it a rights issue?
Yeah, no, rights issue is fine, but I don't know if this person is famous. So should we just be putting out the
famous
photo?
in the other Parsi colonies as this young, strapping young boy, and that's it.
He's not John McEnroe playing tennis, to use my reference.
Okay, cool. Just
Sorry
saying.
about that. There you go. This
Yeah.
is such an old
You just
podcast.
dated yourself.
Okay.
I know. And now suddenly my story from Radhar Parsi colony. Yeah. So this
Okay,
is
so
apparently
basically,
this young lad.
Hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So basically, Cyrus got a message from one of our listeners, Rushali. Palang.
Rushali, ex-MTV producer, who's a writer, author, and big Parsi fan. She's done a lot of stuff. She's a Parsi file, let's say, Parsophile.
Yeah. So and the comment. So basically, this got sent in her mother's group. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the message attached to this image was, this is the picture of Reoman Irani. Women in Dada
Reoman,
Parsi
yeah.
community are hopeful he will single-handedly repopulate the entire community. Sent on my mommy friend group.
I loved it. I thought we should
So
share it. I
cute.
thought it was fantastic. I mean, and he looks like a sweet young guy. He doesn't look like, one of those obnoxious Lokanwala boys parading around or whatever.
Cyrus,
Looks like
our
this guy
time
who
is up,
came up
man.
from-
Our time is up.
Yeah, our time is up. Our time is up. Yeah, I'll look after his dog while he looks after the ladies. We'll work on something. Rayaman. Yeah, Rayaman Irani available for pet keeping at a store near you in Dadar. Yeah, just a nice moment. Ashton, I hope
Too
you're
cute.
populating a few here and there. You're allowed, no, under law now, to populate and
To repopulate,
propagate.
populate.
Yeah, outside the confines of the bedroom that you share.
All hush, don't tell anybody. That kind
Hush,
of
hush.
stuff. Huh.
That's right.
Hmm.
That's right. All right, let's go to the next one.
Sure. Pradeep Pillai asks, hello, Dr. Saab. How to help some of my
Dr. Saab is a misnomer, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
correct. Yeah. Hello, Dr. Saab. How to help some of my fellow citizens to unlearn and banish them of habits like spitting, digging nose, and peeing in public places?
So this is one of the hardest things because,
Yeah.
it's so strange. Like my parents grew up in a time when it was perfectly fine to throw things out the window. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but like we all grew up throwing things out the window till you suddenly realize that, hey, wait a minute, this is not okay anymore. And then you have to relearn this. And it's so interesting. It started with my generation as well. It was there very prominently. And it'll take a while to change. But the whole idea is awareness. And education makes a big, big difference when it comes to these things. Digging nose, I think, is perfectly fine. We should all be doing it, which is why
That's
gorillas
what-
have big
The
nostrils.
5 minutes
because-
when Ashton is alone, when you're alone in the room, I think those are the things you do, right? To
Actually,
de-stress.
yes. Actually, yes. Like on treks, I'm forever taking my nose. It's perfectly fine. That's why you know this, right? Why gorillas have big nostrils?
And very small penises, by the way.
Do they? Yeah.
Yeah, and they have harems. So I was thinking, if they can have harems with small penises, why can't? Well,
What was the email address we had given you on the last podcast? Something 69.
lowland gorilla vulva.com. There you go. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Sorry, so about the nostrils.
Huh.
Gorillas?
So gorillas have big nostrils because they have big fingers. So that's what the purpose of their nostril is. So digging nose, perfectly fine. Spitting must stop. Peeing must stop. So those are things that we need to work on.
No,
But
what I like
education.
about peeing, and what I've noticed about peeing, if you, I don't know if you guys have noticed this as well, and not just in Mumbai, across the country, is that the male thinks it's his prerogative that he can pee in an open space as long as he's turned away. Turned away from the road, and that's fine. You've done your job by just doing that. And I actually, because we did this Bakra show in Delhi where we went on this Faridabad highway and we would ask people, and they would actually tell me things like that. Magar hum yahin pe karte, wahan pe nahi karte, yahin pe karte. What is the philosophy behind that? Log dekh nahi sakta. Log dekh nahi sakta means obviously people are not going to come and peer between your legs to see what you're doing. But you're still freaking urinating, while you're driving by. And then we got strange answers like why they choose a spot, because this has been traditionally a spot to pee for the last 60 years. It's
Well,
like
I
that.
love that.
It was all.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
there's total
but I-
gendering that is happening there, huh? So we were gone on a trek, and I was walking with these 4 girls, and I said, okay, I'm going to go pee. On a trek, you can pee wherever. Like there's a tree, you pee on it. So when
After all the things we've said, yeah,
so
go
you
on.
go to so you find the tree, you pee on that, and all these girls just came and stood next to me while peeing, and I was like, can you imagine if I did this to you guys, taking selfies while I pee? No, not okay. So like full on,
You mean
unequal.
it's wrong to look at girls when they pee? Nobody told me.
Damn, I'm telling you, Antriksh education.
Thank you.
Sylvie, just the other day, as per Jim Carrey in Liar, controlling pee till you get home may result in erectile dysfunction. No, just 50. That causes it. Just turn it
Yeah,
again.
just
You don't have to
forget
wait
50,
for that.
starting
man.
like 40
Yeah,
nowadays.
it's like 40. What the hell do they know? Yeah, smart Alec.
All those people look for
all those people look-
is wind direction, so there is no backlash.
Oh, that's the most
Fair.
important.
Yeah.
Most
So
important.
That's a very important, because
Also,
you guys
elevation
have you
is
ever,
important. you know what I mean? You can't. You have to pee down,
pee
not up.
upwards?
No, you have to pee down.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it splash
Yeah.
back on you.
Again, a trekking
I don't
story.
think I-
Don't ever pee off a cliff because the air comes up
Yeah.
like that. So these are things that you will learn the hard
Can I
way
tell you?
once.
Can I tell you our worst story?
Uh.
When I was started drinking and going to college, the whole college movement thing when you're about 17, 18, 19, somebody had an open gypsy. I don't know, Silvery, there was this thing called a gypsy. I don't know if you've seen it, a Maruti gypsy. It was the first Jeep available for us. So it had an open top, which for the boys was a great thing. So we used to get drunk and pee out of the Jeep, like, stand up in the thing and pee. So in Wally Seaface, that's what we were doing. Can you believe it? And the first time you did that, you don't realize that the faster he goes, the chance of the wind blowing backwards or sideways is even more. So either it's hitting you back or it's hitting somebody on the side, cars. It is never, ever going down. It's never. And man, but we were so drunk, we'd do all these stupid things. But what an easygoing city Mumbai was. We drank and drove and we
We
peed
peed
when
out
we
of
wanted to.
cars.
Yeah, it was such a beautiful feeling. No, please don't do that, guys.
Times have changed, alas.
Really. Yeah.
All right. Next one comes in from Aditya Sharda. He says, some say the best way for a healthy lifestyle is to sleep and wake up early morning. But some say it's more about achieving a proper REM cycle at
He's spoken about
any
that.
time of the day. What do you recommend? He's already spoken.
You'll have to
So
you'll have to go to podcast number 842 or something. Yeah, go on.
8:42 soon. So the whole thing is that waking up early depends on what time you go to sleep as well. REM cycles typically take place right in the morning. So don't do like 4 o'clock, etc. till you're trained for it. So don't immediately start from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Don't make that jump. Change your sleep in half an hour increments over a week. So every week you can change in half an hour. Don't make a dramatic change. That will help with your REM cycles. If you want to start waking up early, but like I tell people, only change and start waking up early if you have a good reason. Otherwise you wake up and just twiddle your thumbs or something else.
Why do people do that? I'll get up early, but they have no agenda.
No
They
agenda.
actually do that.
Yeah.
What's the point of that?
Because it's peer pressure, right? I read in the book that all the top executives do this. So I'm going to start waking up. I had a client like that. And I was like, okay, don't do
It's
it.
also
But like, sorry.
it's a bit of lazy thinking, right? Like you don't complete the thought. I'll get up early, ... And then like you've not finished the thought. Like what should I do once I get up early?
Yeah, so only wake up once
Like,
you have
should I
something to
become a
do.
milkman and deliver doodh? Huh?
That's a good idea.
That would be one thing. Or, I can, the poor watchman, I hate those shifts they have to do, 11 to 7. So I walk my dogs at 5, so I know, and they're always fast asleep. It's such a ridiculous thing to make a human being do that.
What time do you wake
And
up?
about 3,000, I get up at 4:45.
4:45.
Yeah, and I go to sleep between 9:30 and 9:45, 9:50. Never, not before, not 10, I will not cross.
Too good.
But then I wake up a couple of times in the night and all that. So, but I'm fine. I wake up, I'm ready to go. I can't sleep. Sleeping's never been a good thing for me. I don't know what to do. I've given up on it now. So I'm not much of a sleeper. Silvery, on the other hand, sleeps during most of the podcasts. I think in the middle we talk to him, he's not even there. Let's check right now. Silver.
Yeah.
Hello.
Cyrus, you don't
Come in,
sleep?
please.
Okay, I get it.
Silvery, can you say that in the north of England way?
Cyrus, you don't sleep, hey? I don't know.
now I'm tucking in right now, Ashton. Right now.
All right,
Okay,
next one comes in from Sahil Kafri. He says, Ashton buddy, how to align your thoughts with your actions? I have amazing ambitious thoughts, but daily focus is not happening.
Yeah.
Huge question, Ashton. Everybody's problem.
Big one. The number of good ideas that have died in the graveyard is amazing. It is only till you put them in action that it makes a difference. How to put it in action is you identify the smallest possible action that you can take for that thought and then do that small action. Because what happens is that if you do that every day, you start believing you're the kind of person that does those actions. And then your actions grow with you and you start doing it big, start making better and bigger actions. So the ideas start extremely small and then grow from there. Don't try creating an action that is so big and dramatic because it has to be worthy of you. So don't make that mistake.
So as we say in the urinal in public, aim low, and then you can step by step aim a little higher. I'm just trying to make it easy for the listener. Sometimes they don't understand otherwise. I keep it, my entire culture is about toilet.
No,
Keeps everybody happy,
actually
they
the example
understand
is that when you go to the urinal, just pull down your zip. It's okay if you don't pee. Just pull down your zip. That is the smallest action that you can make.
Talk about low self-esteem. What did you do? I couldn't even pee. I pulled down the zip and then I lost motivation.
Like, fuck it.
Fuck you, Ashton Doctor. What did you do to me? I'm standing there with my dick in my hands, but I didn't pee.
Shavik Bakshi
Oh
says,
God.
"Oh shit, I missed this
Shavik.
episode because I thought it would be a boring doctor. Ashton sounds like such a fun guy."
Dude, my surname is Doctor. But
Yeah.
listen to the other
Damn
episode of
surname.
Cyrus for that.
Yeah, doctor. Oh, oof, ouch. And my mechanic is also a doctor, as in surname doctor, Gangu doctor. So yeah, it's a fairly popular name amongst the Bawa community. Everybody will
and
know at least one
Gujarati. I was quite
doctor, one
surprised.
lawyer, one engineer. Yeah, Gujarati with the surname doctor.
Yeah.
Didn't
Mona
want the
doctor
degree,
and
so
all.
just kept the surname.
Just-
What the hell?
Hmm.
Save money in the medical college. Huh? Just give the surname. Oh, we won't take it in front. We'll take it in the back. Oops. No double meaning. You know what I mean, guys? Back to the toilet. I'm the guy. I'm that guy. Your client. I'm that guy who you want to send to the public urinal. Unzip and stand.
We're learning
Arpit-
physics on the
And
Arpit
await
Bansal
further
says-
instructions.
Yeah.
Arpit.
The definition of being a moron. Ashton, so karo.
Arpit Bansal says some people might consider this conversation about peeing, but we are learning physics on this podcast.
It's always a
Absolutely.
learning.
Philosophy is always something you glean or get from the example. The example is meaningless. It doesn't really have. It can be anything, right? Now, Silvery, every time we're in doubt, switch to North England accent. Remember.
I say.
All right.
All right.
All right, governor.
Join me in the urinal. Unzip and stand. Awaiting instructions.
Okay. Sahil Caffrey has another great question. Sahil Caffrey has another question. He says, Ashton, can you help Cyrus in his habit of getting angry with auto drivers and bikers?
Well, that's just not me. That's not me alone.
That's a lot of people.
There's a whole community. I would say 30% of people driving, self-driving, have some amount of road rage. 1 or 3 people. Let's be honest.
Ashton, I'm
So,
sure.
so
do
do you get
road
upset
rage?
at them while driving, or do you get upset when you're sitting in them?
So
They're
the
two different
prejudices
things.
happen.
Huh.
No. Sitting now is very rare.
Hmm.
Sitting not so much. But I didn't enjoy the experience of a rickshaw. Obviously, everything organs would shift. Your livers, your
But at
kidney.
least you
At
got
the
like
end
the
of it.
bump.
Yeah, but you forgive them because it's not a personal attack on you.
Hmm.
But when they cut parallel like that and whatever, and you miss the red light because he suddenly goes slow and then suddenly breaks the light and you couldn't make the green or things like that. I mean, they're terrible. And then the prejudice, like racism, and then you hate them before they do anything because the prejudice is set in. Like bikers. So in bikers, I hate the bikers. Again,
For
not
me,
the bikers
cyclists.
who go on to Pune. Cyclists and bikers, the people who are like delivery guys, and it's almost a class issue. I don't want to get into it, but it's a class biker issue that I'm having. Because the upper class biker doesn't bother me wearing his leather jacket and going to Pune on Sunday in his 750cc bike. Whatever. You got a Norton, God bless you. But it's the underprivileged biker who's a mother. Okay, I won't get into it. We should mind our language.
Support Cyrus's road
Prithvi.
rage.
Yes, power to the people. And tell me, Ashton, who will support a rickshaw? Who amongst us will not say if a rickshaw driver is to be beaten badly with chappals, you will not join in? Tell me honestly. Silvery, be honest here.
Just throw it.
And you can do it with your English accent.
भैया घाट को ऊपर चलना है.
I say, throw the slipper at
throw.
him.
Ashton, do you get road rage otherwise? ऐसे?
Once in a while. But it happens when I've had a tiring day. Otherwise, it's like, let everyone pass. Ki gale. The whole, I think we follow, like, you also, like, reach really early for meetings, right? Don't you? You, like,
Oh, I'm
leave
always on
early.
time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we
I'll be
always
a
leave
little
early,
early,
always on time. So, matlab, after a while, you just like, you are in a hurry, Baba, you got susu to do. Please run ahead. Tatti lagi hai. Go, no problem. We'll take it. Because ultimately, you have to reach in a sane manner, right? Otherwise, it affects your
No,
meetings.
but there's a certain amount of arrogance which gets to you also, maybe because of your own arrogance, which is like VIPs. The menace that it's our area, of course, that faces this. It's just ridiculous the way they do that. Stop traffic, and it's inside you like a cancer, and it's festering more and more. Then you got this guy who's on the phone. He's on the phone with proper phone and driving.
that's
It's clearly
crazy. Yeah.
I mean, then the next thing, and then breaking the red light and coming in front of you. How can a bike be like this to you, a car? I've not understood that. This is a road going this way, and you're going that way, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. The stupidest is when the road rage happens. Like my driver used to get road rage with all these guys, and then it would be like, "Baba, it's my car that you're going to scratch in this rubbish." Like dude, chill out.
That
It's
also
like
you
apni
can't
पैरों
point
पे
fingers.
कुल्हाड़ी मारना. Like that's what it turns
Exactly.
into.
Yeah. I think we missed a comment by somebody, I think Arpit, saying, 10% of the population is for bikers. I like this podcast, so please do not kill him. This word bikers is wrong. Bikers is about people I've grown up with who love bikes. Like my workout partner, Rustam Modi. That's different. They love bikes and they follow rules and they wear the helmet and the thing and all that. I'm talking about the jokers who are on the pavement, who break the one-ways, who do to you as a message. Just sounds with their tongue. Those guys I hate. You're walking a kid or a dog and they're just almost running over you. Those people going adjacent to you, going in the wrong direction, doing whatever they want to, and including cops sometimes. I wish one day if I'm dying, if I have a terminal disease, I'm going to make a list. Get myself a gun, make a list, and do the right thing by society. But I may talk to you, Ashton, before that. You may want to advise me to go and urinate.
You should do what my dad always wanted to do. My dad wanted to buy a JCB so that nobody took panga with him. Just like move people aside.
And bang them left, right,
just like, just take that thing and just go whoosh, whoosh, move people left.
I've had these evil thoughts. I wanted to keep that metal thing in the front and back. I wanted a Willys Jeep with the front and back, that metal thing.
Cow catcher.
So that I can keep hitting people, cow catcher, and just hit people and say sorry. Say sorry, Sorry, my fault. Sorry, my fault. I dream of that.
Just write sorry on the car bus.
Yeah, sorry. Main tere ko marega, sorry. Or the words of Ramo's famous song, Teri maa ki churi. I had this fight with a cabbie once where I cut him and he came alongside me and started doing, in UP they have a very sweet way of even looking at you. They don't even, there's tameez in the body language. So I went and I just said Sora. We had a girlfriend in the car and I wanted to say the word sorry, being an arrogant Malayalam boy. So I said Sora, like a French accent. So I've said sorry. So she's okay that I'm not like a brute. And there's the whole, capitalist versus communist sort of feeling that was going on in any case. So I went Sora and thought I won points with her. He thought I abused him because Sora is not sorry.
Sora hoga tera.
So Sora became a teri maa ki and he started abusing me. I started abusing him and she was like, what's wrong with you? This whole thing went out of whack. But my intent was to say sorry. And I said Sora.
Oh,
maybe he was also saying, I apologize, but you didn't get it. You thought I was like a bad thing.
It was one of those.
Yeah.
It was teri maa
So both
ki.
of you just basically apologizing, but both of you are shouting at each other.
There's a French tilt to everything. Yes.
Yeah.
Oops.
All right.
The beauty of this country. Yeah. Go on.
Sridhar Bhupati says, is adopting a habit a difficult task or leaving one, please?
Leaving?
A habit.
Leaving.
So like a bad habit if you want to let go.
Giving it up.
Giving
Like
it up.
drinking or something.
So the best way of leaving a bad habit is to add lots of new good habits to it. So if you are looking at leaving a habit that you feel does not serve you anymore, start thinking of what are the things that will start serving you. Put those into your life and you'll notice that this one automatically falls by the wayside. So many people, for example, who were smokers and then they started running, for example, or started doing something else, suddenly realized that the smoking is not helping them. It's not working for what their new goal is. And as a result, they let go of it. So that's one way of thinking about it.
A bit hypocritical coming from Sridhar Bhupati, considering that Bhupati left Leander, who was a habit for him, and caused all that debacle there in their doubles relationship. But Sridhar, I'm apologizing for that. You must have had your leg pulled enough for the last 10 years. We'll never do that again.
But he had a Roger Federer ka symbol on the side. So there is a full confusion there.
Yeah, you're right. There's a cyclical connection that we need to look at. What if he's related to Mahesh? Man, the joke's not funny anymore.
It's real.
The first thing I'm giving up habit-wise is this podcast. Not yours, Ashton, mine. Don't worry. And we can't afford to go back to single digits. So please, Sridhar, stay where you are. Next one, sir.
Yeah. Next one comes in from Janel Bain. He says, how to not feel groggy in the morning after waking up.
Oh, very
Why do some people wake up, like I never wake up groggy,
Hmm.
but why do some people wake up and they're just difficult to deal with, especially in the old days when I had a room with people?
Hmm.
They just wake up and they're like really slow.
So the
Why?
most important thing is that these guys wake up with an alarm clock most of the time. So the alarm is not set correctly.
It's cut the sleep.
So it's cut their deep sleep cycle. So when you wake up in your deep sleep cycle, you go for a toss completely. So as a result, what you have to do is you have to understand that your sleep cycles are in about 1.5 hour increments. So you average it out. So 6 hours is correct. 7.5 is correct, but don't set an alarm for 8 hours. You'll be in the middle of your deep sleep cycle at that point of time. So you start understanding this aspect and you then play around with it half an hour early, half an hour later and see when you start waking up fresher. So that makes a big difference. Also, what happens is many people go to sleep tired. This is a misnomer that or misconception that you have to be tired to sleep. You actually need energy to sleep because your body is repairing itself at that point of time. So you need energy, but you need to be bored to go to sleep. And that's the important thing.
That's why we get married.
That's why you get married. Conversation.
Conversation. Okay. Wow. Must be young. Go on.
Not young enough, no? Because it will be something else. Alas.
I think it's very interesting. that the whole I think you mentioned this quality of sleep versus quantity of sleep a few times in the podcast in the past. A lot of people are stuck with numbers. These are what parents also tell us growing up, Ashton. I think Parsi households are filled with that. You have to sleep 8 hours, 7 hours. It's ingrained as a child, the balance of life habits.
Correct.
And that perhaps is wrong because you can't quantify it, right?
Yeah.
Is that the essence of what you were saying?
Yeah, you can't quantify it, and it's not necessarily 8 hours is correct for everybody. That's the only issue. So you have to see what makes you feel energetic, surviving through the day, and then reduce your sleep as much as you possibly can to be functioning well, because then you can do so much more stuff. Like that.
I think Silvery is on one of the sleep cycles right now. I think he's on one of the 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
About 15 minutes to go or
Getting
something
there.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do sleep less. I feel like
Yeah,
and
10
then
hours is
it's
not
very difficult
enough.
to catch
Yeah.
up. 10 hours? No, man. I sleep at like very, very odd sleep. I sleep at like 3, 4 in the morning and I get up at like 7, 7:30.
But even with your masturbating habits, why do
Yeah.
you sleep so late?
Just there's a lot of shit to do. I mean, not work.
So
just
unwinding.
personal
I
stuff.
think the big problem with the generation that follows our generation or the next two generations is that they unwind later and later. Like the private unwinding, which Ashlyn spoke of also. You get your time to yourself at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Then you need an hour or two of that. So that straight away becomes 3 or 4.
Correct.
And then, then you're against it for the rest of the
Like
next
my
day.
grandmother used to say, right? Early to bed, early to rise makes you a rooster in disguise. So that's what it is.
Another word for rooster is cock, right? Yeah, that's another word. Okay.
Alarm
Go on.
clock.
All right. Next one comes in from Vineet Khandelwal. He says, Ashton, how can I stop reading productivity books one after another and actually implement them in my life?
Vineet, so I had a client exactly like this. And so the whole thing was that, right now there's a big conversation around, porn addiction, right? And the whole idea of porn addiction is, the reason why it's an addiction is because you're constantly looking for that next video that's going to do it for you. The same thing is applying to productivity books because you're constantly looking for that next tip that is going to do it for you. So it's turning into an addiction. So what I told him to do is for an entire week, no productivity videos, podcasts, books. So as a result, what happened was pachak. After that, when he came out, he was like, wow, okay, so I've actually started using some of the stuff that I learned last week instead of actually just reading and figuring out what next. Because then it just goes into the cycle and you're stuck.
Also, is it possible, Ashton, we're looking for shortcuts? Many of us, I'm also a productivity book kind of guy, looking for all these methods and always trying to find some, these three, whatever. Is that because deep down you want to way out fast or head faster?
No, I think yes, one for sure. But the thing is that you don't realize when is enough, right? So I'll give you a quick habit that I do, which is whenever I learn something, I immediately implement it that single day. So like, for example, I'm right now listening to books on finance. Immediately, as soon as I got an important idea, called my accounts guy, this has to be done. So what happens is then you're actually implementing what you're learning instead of it just becoming part of your background knowledge.
So you're living the learning while we are looking for almost like a dream thing, which may or may not ever happen.
Magic bullets don't exist.
Yeah, I did the same thing with the ladies. Still looking.
One productivity.
Should I take a break for 1 week?
Will you survive that, Cyrus? Will you survive that?
What else is there to do? What else is there to do?
Yeah. All right. This last one comes in from Girish Patil. He says, Cyrus and Ashton, my wife is pre-33 and diabetic. What suggestion would you give to avoid being diabetic based on your experience? Since she can't eat sweets, she started eating my sour brain.
Cute. Okay, so there are multiple things that you can do. First, speak to your doctor. Intermittent fasting is something that's fantastic for getting your blood sugar in check because you're not eating for those amounts of time. So you're actually giving your system a rest. So that is something that she can definitely try. Exercise is something that's important. She has to build muscle. Building muscle is very, very critical because that's where all your glucose is primarily stored in your body in the form of glycogen. So if she does these things, she will start probably getting a little better and maybe your brains will be a little saved at the end. Yeah, Cyrus, you were saying.
Oh, I know. I want to get my doctor on the podcast. He's a lovely guy, Nadeem Rice, and he's a legend. And because I was so scared of going to him because, I'm a bit of like my weight training and I'm a little obsessive and extreme personality. So I was so worried about weight loss and, my wife was so worried that I'd be obnoxious because all I'm worried about is metformin is going to make me thinner and what can I eat in lieu of carbs, etc., etc. But he was fabulous. He treated me obviously the way I need to be treated, like a 3-year-old, and said, don't worry, we'll do what you want to do. So in a sense, I think you need to start with the
the wife here in question, Mrs. Patel, let's call her that, since he's not given us a name. Girish, I think you've got to just start with a very positive, and that's where Ashton comes in, sort of approach. Forget what you're going to do, that's the second part, but the approach has to be very, like on the right foot in the beginning. Once that happens, then you come to the party, because what he did is he just laid down for me, ideal. This is what I needed to do. What do you want to do? And in the middle is a compromise. Let's find that. And immediately you want to do that when someone talks to you like that. You don't want to be obnoxious. I was worried they'll say, okay, no this. And I'll be, but doctor, I'll lose 2 kilos. What am I going to do? And, and then the arguments will just carry on from there. He never went there at all. He said, okay, I'll give you something to stop any sense of weight loss. You check every day, see what's happening. I'll give you this, I'll give you that. And he wanted me, I've got a patch on even now, which I can show people who can watch the thing.
Perfect.
So they're recording everything you eat, because it's a custom-made disease. Ultimately, it's not a generic disease people think.
Yeah.
So you got to see what works for you. Rice is okay for me, bread isn't, wheat isn't, for example. So I've got a few. Once you find out what you can live with, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So I think Mrs. Patel just needs to get the right doctor, Dr. Nadeem Rice. I'll get you a 20% discount because he's very fond of me. We both make fun of the government together for 20 minutes, which cannot be shared on air. But he's a legend. Just lovely guy. And I think, Ashton, you cut from the same cloth. Find people, when you go to them, I always believe, don't go to people who have great science. Great science is secondary. Go to people who've got great heart. Great heart and great mindset is 80% of the battle. In the words of Sudhir Joshi, when asked to improve his English for English play, being a Marathi thespian and English being his third language, what were his lines, Silvery? Acting is 90% confidence, 10% lines. Okay, it's the same thing for me with doctors. It's 90%. I'm with vets. I just love those who really like dogs. I'm not interested in how good they are. You tell me about, because I've gone to a couple of these great vets and they're just so disconnected from animals that I couldn't deal with them after some time. But they've got all the machinery and all the people and all the biodata in the background which tells you where they're from. But just give me good old Tina Rustomji sitting there in Gamadia Colony who loves dogs and loves animals, and we're good.
So cute.
So it's the same thing.
Absolutely.
No, really, don't you think, Ashton?
Yeah,
that's where you come from. I think that's why they appreciate you and the podcast is doing so well, because people like the fact that you're on their side. Because science is there. We can find it together.
Yeah.
You don't have to be that great scientist. That's always going to be the second part of the whole deal. So that's just my point on diabetes, is just get a guy like Dr. Nadeem Rice, someone who's in your corner, or Ashton, and I think that's it. That's the journey. From there, it becomes much easier.
Perfect.
My lifts are up, by the way. In 2 weeks, all my lifts are up. My energy levels even more. So I'm very grateful.
What are the changes you made?
So our sugars have all gone. I used to drink about 4 or 5 glasses of Tang. That's gone. Any sugar in anything is gone. Which is more than you think. I would eat bhel puri, for example, every evening almost.
Ketchup.
So these little things add up. Ketchup, all that. So that's all gone. Carbs, I'm only limited to brown rice at the moment. But I've tried one meal. I'll see the spike this week. Last week I tried one bread once. It spiked, so I can't do that. I tried, what have I tried? I have to still try wheat spiked, but the other...
You tried millets and stuff? Jawar, bajra?
Yeah, so I have to try that. I have to try that. So
for me, American corn used to spike it like crazy. So that's something that you should check out. American, because we used to think corn is good, healthy, natural. No. Big spike.
Yeah. Correct. So exactly. So it's a work in progress. So we'll see. But I'm okay. At the moment I'm fine in terms of I can eat all the meats.
Yeah.
Egg yolks they've taken out because my cholesterol was high as well. Egg yolks are down to only 4, where I was eating 18. I was eating 18 full eggs. So that was perhaps anyway. But I'm still eating 4 to 5 egg yolks and about 15 egg whites. So I'm still close to my target.
Correct. How is your vitamin D?
Vitamin D, I don't know if need be, I'll take it. But I get the sun almost every day for about half an hour with the dogs. So I don't think that's an issue. I don't want to get into it. I just do what he says. I just start getting worried about this, that, and the other. For me, it's more like, I just see my health in terms of my energy level, my output in the gym, and my mood. If I start becoming negative and aggressive and all that, I know something is wrong.
Big.
As long as I'm, because that's a sign of things falling apart. So, but aggressive as in, with Indians being aggressive is allowed. With foreigners, it's terrible because they're really nice people. And back to our North of England expert. Sir, can you take us out of the show?
Yes, we, the best people, say thank you for joining us on this podcast.
Thank you for joining us on this podcast. And thank you for being with us. And we'll see you tomorrow. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Ashton, all the best. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
3 years, the start of a decades and decades of run. And more than anything else, just the fact that you're doing something which really benefits people. I'm sure that really, no money or no tangible reward can ever explain what that means. So,
absolutely.
Superb. Well played.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter, on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Ikka Dukka Economy, Abhinav talks to Dr. Bharat Junjunwala, author and professor of IIM Bangalore, to discuss inflation and its effects on our daily lives. On Storytellers and Storytellers, Vineet sits down to talk to Ankit Chauhan, aka Oye Ankit, the man behind the internet's most viral mashups. On Press Decode, Sarah Vagda and Prafulla discuss the biggest news of the week, the brand new COVID variant Omicron. On The Longest Constitution, Priya takes us through gender inequity at work and how women have changed these regulations. And on Agla Station Adulthood, Ritash and Ayushi talk to Nikhil Taneja. Nikhil is an old friend of the network. He's the founder and CEO of Yuva. Yuva is a socially conscious youth media organization, and in this episode, he discusses toxic masculinity. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. And finally, do remember that many of our shows are available on YouTube. You can check that out by going to our website, ivmpodcast.com/YouTube, where we have a list of all of our various YouTube channels. Finally, we'd like to thank the sponsors on the network this week: Cred, Bank of Baroda, HDFC Mutual Fund, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Intel, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
पेश खिदमत है आपकी शान में हमारे अंजुमन से. Hi, I am Sadaf.
And I'm Arshit. खाने का इतिहास, economics, policy, psychology, सब है मेन्यू पर.
Only on the Nankali podcast every Wednesday, सिर्फ IVM podcast ऐप या वेबसाइट पर, या फिर जहां से भी आप अपने पॉडकास्ट सुनते हो.